Today's video will focus on Teen Gohan Fighter's response video towards Michael Somer's statement about Cartoon Rewind. Yes, I am aware of the whole drama with Gohan about less than a year ago regarding Blazin' Rants and the others involved with said drama. However, my response does not in any way relate to that whole situation and is completely irrelevant with the video in question. With that out of the way, let's start.
But Michael Somer did a commentary on RTP, which I'm not going to get involved in any of that stuff. If RTP wants to do a commentary on Shomer, he can do that. That's not why I'm doing this video. I'm doing it for something he said about a good friend of mine here on YouTube, and that's who I'm doing it. And because of his logic on what a one-shot is, which is one interjection, even though he gave 4 points in his alleged one-shot, which Manning already debunked in the dictionary, which dictionaries, I'm sorry, Michael Shorman, doesn't lie.
I know I touched on this on my one-shot on RTB, but I will briefly bring up what I said in my response in case you never actually watched my video, which possible chances are you didn't. For starters, yes, Michael did make multiple points on his one-shot response to RTP. However, there's one small little detail you seem to be leaving out. If you actually watch Michael's original one-shot video on RTP, you would see that while making those points towards RTP, he did it all in one cutaway and not more than one cutaway. Because of that on its own, Michael's video was in fact a one-shot. Now I'm going to refer to my one-shot com on RTP to debunk the second part of your argument, as well as elaborating a bit more towards the first half of my argument. Something that you and RTP fail to understand is the fact that when commentators are using the words one-shot in those videos, they're not referring to the literal definition of the term one-shot. The words are used as a phrase to point out that the video is only going to have one actual cutaway towards the topic/video in question, and that's it. Besides, if we were to apply your and RTP's logic towards using the dictionary term of one-shot, aka to achieve in a single attempt or action, that would mean commentaries that exceed 20 to 40 minutes in length would be considered one-shot commentaries because they're all being done in a single attempt. Also, I'd like to also point out that because you're taking the words one-shot out of context, that means that the title of your video is entirely misleading due to the fact that you made 4 actual cutaways in your video, 3 times with the red text, and 1 later on with your actual avatar. So good going.
You know, the Versus series whose 3D animation is so awkward, stiff, and sometimes glitchy to the point where I wonder if it's either bad on purpose or if those guys are just that incompetent. Or both. Oh, and before anyone accuses me of being a Screw Attack fanboy, I won't say Torian's fight animation is perfect by any stretch of the imagination, especially since it sometimes feels off to me, but unlike Cartoon Fight Club, at least with him, I can tell he puts effort in when he does animate a fight scene for Death Battle.
The guy who does those animated fights is Animation Rewind, who, may I add, does a phenomenal job at what he does.
I think the footage Michael presented of the actual animation itself would love to tell you otherwise, but please, go on.
This guy, okay, because I talked to him on Skype. I'm on his research team, and I also do some voice acting skills, or voice acting stuff for him because I'm kind of a beginner and I'm trying to actually learn how to be a better voice actor because I'm not that good. And so, you know, I'm improving and I'm trying, by getting a role, I'm trying to learn how to be better at that. And I want to just say this right now. Michael Somer, have you done animation? Do you know how hard it is? How the hell are you going to trash someone's work when you don't even know really what this guy does?
So basically what you're saying is because he doesn't know the nature of how animation is done or how complicated it is to do animation, he shouldn't complain about or criticize his animation? I'm sorry, but that's not how it works. You don't have to know how animation is done or how difficult it is to do to realize how shitty someone else's animation is. That's like me criticizing a cook's cooking and that person or someone related to that person comes up to me and says, "Do you know how complicated it is to cook food or the process of preparing food?" In that case, you shouldn't be trashing my or said person's cooking. Sorry, Gohan, that's not how the world works.
I'm going to show you a clip of this right here, and this is I can't show you everyone else's names. I'm just going to show you you know, the name of the shows, Cartoon Fight Club, but this is Animation Rewind, who does all the fights, and he flat out said that he has hardly gotten any sleep. You want to know why he hardly has gotten any sleep? Because he does 2 things. He goes to college full time, and he works on his animated fights and also the research as well with us. That's all he does. He has no time to do anything else. You don't even understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's nice and all, but how does that disprove Michael's claim about the animation being extremely poor and awkward to watch? Oh right, it doesn't. What you just said is nothing more than a lousy attempt to justify Cartoon Fight Club's poorly done animation and failing miserably.
You say how he's not trying to get better, yet I talked to him and I've seen some of his older fights, and he is definitely improved in his 3D animation fights. Yeah, he's nowhere near Tori's level, and how the hell would he? Like, that guy is like literally a professional, like, animator. So yeah, he's not going to be at his level. So if you were expecting Animation Rewind to do something like him, then yeah, you are not going to get that type of fight, but you are still going to get a good animated fight.
He never said nor implied that he was expecting Cartoon Rewind's animation to be just as good as Screw Attack's animation. His point was that compared to Screw Attack's animation, you could tell that there was a good amount of effort being put into the animation, unlike Cartoon Rewind's. I think I'm done here because there's nothing really worth pointing out beyond that point. So about a day ago, a guy named SomeGuy287 made a rant of Sammy Classic Sonic fan. Now, this is not going to be a commentary, but what this will be is a quick rant about this guy's video. Okay, so basically the background of the video is that some guy did a 2-minute rant about Sammy's overall behavior on YouTube and basically calls out his parents or whoever takes care of Sammy and basically said that they need to get Sammy to stop yelling and screaming like a little kid on the internet and get him help or get him to be more social to people around him and meet new people. Now, what's so pathetic about this whole rant this guy did is that this whole situation with Sammy throwing a tantrum in his videos is completely irrelevant at this point. And I'm not just pulling this out of my ass because the last time Sammy made a video where he threw a fit was 7 months ago on this old channel. Even if the video was more recent, it still would have been a dead subject because not only has he been talked about to death, but a lot of people, including myself, can easily point out the way Sammy acts in his videos is not only not to be taken seriously, but it's all a fucking act. Now, what I feel is the real kicker about this whole rant is that on Sammy's newer channel, which is named the same, which surprises me why this guy never actually decided to see if the kid was still active and acting like he was in his older videos, but in a video he made in late June, I happened to come across this little comment that Sammy left because the kid comments a lot basically explaining his behavior on his older videos, and it reads as follows. Yes, the older videos were meant to ignite controversy. That should be fairly obvious, which is a funny statement by the way. I mean, no one's that irate on camera. So the kid himself admitted to the whole throwing a tantrum act to be completely intentional and meant to piss people off. And pissed off you were in this video, which I will put a link in the description below for you guys. It really shocks me how someone with so much credibility as yourself falls for such an obvious troll. So next time before you go ranting about a certain user, make sure the person in question is actually being serious about what they say or do. Someone decided to once again make another response to Flippy. Joy! Also, quick disclaimer before we begin, no, I'm not going to cover everything in the commentary, just the parts I'd like to cover.
Tonight's commentary is going to be on another mediocre commentator, the name in question being Mr. Flipper Invader 782. I originally had intended to do a commentary on Mr. Sir Raven's 2012 Foxstar commentary. As much as I want to do so, I don't want any hypocrisy on my behalf where I beat the dead horse like he does. Though all you need to know is that, well, that commentary sucked. However, I'm going to do a commentary of his more recent commentary on Borg Productions' AVGN parody.
Even if you are tackling one of Flippy's more recent commentaries, that kind of ignores the fact that Flippy hasn't been relevant in the CC for about 7 months now and has been exposed as someone who only makes these kind of videos to get attention so people will give him views and leave comments on his videos.
Hello fans of the video game industry, I am the calm video game nerd.
Okay, first problem. The calm video game nerd. Looks like somebody's trying to latch off of AVGN success, I see.
No. Nope. We're not starting this commentary off by saying first problem with this video. That phrase is lazy, tiresome, cliched, and redundant as hell. I know it's an irony statement and I contradict myself there because I remember saying that phrase, but that was back in 2011 through 13, back when the phrase was somewhat new. Now everybody says that fucking shit, even in 2015. What, you think saying first part with this video is gonna set the world on fire? I don't think so, no one does either.
Keep this in mind. This will come up very soon.
I am the complete opposite of the angry video game nerd.
Nah, really?
And have a...
Okay, I just want to point this out now because this issue persists through the whole commentary. First off, you literally flash your text on the screen for barely a second. This is a problem because why should I have to stop your video just so I can fully read out your text? The only time where it's okay to do that is when you're only posting like a single or a few words on the screen. That is lazy editing and you need to fix that. Secondly, and this issue appears in a few parts of your commentary, make sure I can actually read the text. There were times where I was trying to read your text in the original video, and it looked like the text was blending in the background of Flippy's commentary, making it hard to read out. Either use a different color, a different text font, or use something like a watermark to make the text stand out more.
A different variation of the happy video game nerd.
The only variation being I am a lot more fatter than him.
Like I said in one of my last statements, that's a problem because...
TVB, that was obviously a joke. He didn't have a problem with anything.
So the objective here is to review the common games.
Okay, allow me to actually address your text right here. Flippy's video converter and editing skills are neither an issue here at all. The reason why Flippy upped the pitch of Borg's video was because he didn't want that particular part of Borg's video to drag out too long and pad out the runtime of his commentary. And it's completely okay to do this, just as long as I can still understand what the opposing user is still saying, which in this case, I still can.
The controls here are much better than what?
Basically, you don't have to use much in the line of controls because the objective of this game is simply move the balloon around with the cursor.
You know that'd be good information if only that loud ear-piercing beeping noise didn't completely drown your speaking voice.
Hey, Mr. Flipper, dude, can I explain to you something? Said beeping noise was from, I don't know, the actual game itself. Also, yeah, like your speaking voice is better. I mean, for Christ's sake, for Christ's sake,
First off, thank you, Captain Obvious. I'm pretty sure anyone who watches Flippy or Borks' video can point out the noises coming from the television. Secondly, Flippy's complaint wasn't addressing Borks' speaking voice. He was addressing how the volume of the TV was drowning out his voice. Third point, TVB, I hope you do realize that the whole stuttering joke bit when pointing out someone stuttering is very overdone and commentators like yourself should have stopped using it a while ago. And completely forgetting for a second that the joke is overdone, why did you point out his stuttering in this part of the video? Flippy stutters even more in his commentary even past this part of the video, so you should have pointed it out then so you didn't come off as nitpicking and ended up repeating the same damn joke when that part of the video came up. Last thing I wanted to also point out was when I told you guys to keep in mind the part where we got on Flippy's case for using a commentary cliche around the beginning of the video, because here you yourself used a commentary cliche as well using the stuttering joke. That kind of makes you come off as a hypocrite there, pal.
Show you what happens when you get caught. Real simple. You go into a bubble and you fly into the air and you gotta try all over again.
I know he's trying to sound informative by showing what happens when you die, but really, is that something that we really need to see in the video games? Do people play Resident Evil 4 or Sonic 06 and go, hey, this is what happens when you die? Or do they play Super Mario Bros. Or Super Mario Galaxy and they go, oh, this is what happens when you dies? Unless you're a friggin' masochist or whatever that likes watching video game deaths, I don't see the point in bringing this information up.
Wait, so when Borg Productions reviews a game, it's a federal crime to have his character killed while playing said game. Yet when other video game reviewers like James Rolfe, Armake21, Urinating Tree, Irate Gamer, and so on review games and they kill off their characters while playing, that gives them a free get-out-of-jail card, right?
Considering that Flippy has actually made a commentary on AVGN before, I think it's safe to assume that he would have an issue with James doing that. Well, everybody, that's all I wanted to cover in this commentary on TVB.